So there are times in life when we do things that are so humiliating or wonderful or memorable, you can remember them. I can smell things. When I was a kid, 7, 8 years old, I went to Mount Rainier. My family went to Mount Rainier. My sister and I drove bikes up in Paradise. It's a part in Mount Rainier. The memories are so strong for me, I kid you not, that about twice a year I smell like a campfire, and it takes me 50 years back to being with my sister on a bike. That's how much fun I had. This happens in sports. It happens in life. You're humiliated in high school. You could have been humiliated last week. It just stuff sticks. You can't unsee it. You can't unsmell it. You can't unexperience it. I've seen this in sports. Miracle on Ice. The greatest, most dramatic sports moment in American history. We beat the Russians in hockey. I remember exactly where I was. The carpet was green. The door was brown. The glass I had orange soda in it. I can remember every color from the moment. It was such a powerful moment. And when I watch the Kansas City Chiefs, sometimes I think they were so powerful. They were so unique. They're the only team in my life where they fell behind 24-0 in a playoff game, and I sat on the couch thinking, that's okay. They just got to kind of get buttoned up here, and they'll win. And they did. They scored like 45 straight points. They were doing plays I'd never seen. Mahomes was throwing the ball sideways, left-handed. It was so powerful. You can't unsee it. And everybody now isn't acknowledging they're just average. Kansas City's an average offense. Folks, even Vegas hasn't adjusted yet. In the last 20 games, the Chiefs are 5-15 against the spread. The market hasn't adjusted. Conversely, Dallas has been so average for 2 decades that the market hasn't adjusted to how good the Cowboys are. The Cowboys would blow the Chiefs' doors off tomorrow. Dallas is 7-0 against the spread. We don't realize how good Dallas is because of all the memories of how average they've been and overrated for 20 years, and we don't understand what we're watching with Kansas City right now. They're average. Forget their team, their offense. They have no running game. Their offensive line is not gelling. Right now, it's below average in the NFL. Mahomes is missing. His mechanics are bad. He's missing on throws. Should have had another ball picked off last night. Travis Kelce's disappeared. What do they do well? But they were so spectacular and so clever and so unique, and they did plays now that everybody's copying, these little shovel passes. They didn't see those 10 years ago. You didn't see those 5 years ago. I mean, Kansas City is incredibly lucky to just be in the AFC. Look at the top of the NFC, right? If they were an NFC team, they would be a second-tier team. I mean, the roster of Dallas, of Tampa, of Green Bay, of Arizona, of the Rams, stars, having great years, both sides of the ball performing. Kansas City's offense isn't even performing. And if you look at their schedule, I mean, Dallas with Cooper Rush on the road was more impressive than Kansas City at home against the New York Giants last night. I mean, here's another little factoid that we have to be honest about. Kansas City does not have a win against the winning team this year. And by the way, 3 of their 4 wins come against the weakest division, the NFC East. And if you look at their schedule, it is now the toughest remaining schedule in the NFL. Green Bay, at the Raiders, Dallas, Raiders, at the Chargers, Pittsburgh, at Cincinnati. Brutal. They're not going to be a playoff team. There's a strong likelihood they're not going to be a playoff team, but they were so spectacular and so vivid and so animated and so fun and so spectacular. Left-handed throws and sidearm throws coming from behind literally in all their playoff games. The year they won the Super Bowl. The market is not adjusted to what's really happening. I've said this. Michigan football, my entire childhood, Michigan football was great. They had the big house. They were in the biggest rivalry. They had the best fight song. They had the coolest uniforms. They were on TV every week. Michigan hasn't been elite in 20 years. They're not as good as Michigan State this morning. They're not even the best football program. But I can't, when I look at Michigan, I just think big house, band, victors, uniform, Michigan, great. What are they today? The 15th best program in the country the last 15 years? They can't beat Michigan State. They don't even compete mostly against Ohio State. They're 2-12 against top teams. When memories are strong and experiences are strong, it's hard to unsee stuff. It can't, I will say they won, they endured, and Andy Reid talked about that after the game, and he's right. Now, they have the talent. Maybe the offensive line starts to gel. They pick up a couple of impressive wins. We're not canceling the team. We don't think they'll never be good again. But right now in this moment, they're not even the best 4-4 team. I mean, New England right now is doing multiple things well, like their defense, their special teams, their run game, their pass protection. Kansas City's not doing almost anything well. Travis Kelce is the best tight end in football. Where is he? But it's okay. They'll get it right. But the powerful memories of this wizardry on offense, it's hard to see them objectively. All right, let's shift to this. I said this last year. When you live in Los Angeles, and Joy and I, because of our business, you end up knowing people through your agent, through this, through that. Everybody knows somebody famous in Los Angeles, right? Like everybody knows somebody, right? Somebody that's an actor, somebody. I was talking to a friend last night. He was like, I was at a restaurant and Beck showed up. And I'm like, it doesn't happen in Cincinnati, right? And so I said this last year that I just happen to know somebody who I admire a lot, who's a big deal in town, who's friends with OBJ. And he said OBJ's being a really good guy in Cleveland. He's being a team player. He's not into Cleveland. He's not into Baker. It's just not. It's not working. But I'm not here to blow it up. But it was a thing I talked about it briefly last year, and so it's very interesting. So the trade deadline's today. Odell Beckham Jr., his dad, posted a video putting blame on Baker Mayfield for all of it. Well, what does that mean? Why did his dad do it the day before the trading deadline? His son wants out. OBJ wants out. Cleveland has said, we don't want to trade OBJ. OBJ wants out. So his dad is starting this. And to double down on this, LeBron James and LeBron and his guys are tight with OBJ. LeBron James said this morning, OBJ will show again why he's special. Wide receiver 1, free OBJ. So both his dad and his most powerful friend LeBron, on the day of the trading deadline and on the eve of the trading deadline, are trying to create a situation where OBJ can get out and revive his career. OBJ wants out. He wanted out last year. He wants out. He goes to his friend LeBron with power in Cleveland. He goes to his dad. This is not a coincidence. He wants out. I was told he wanted out last year. The previous GM, John Dorsey, brought him to Cleveland. It never fit. He doesn't fit Baker. He doesn't fit Cleveland. He doesn't fit Stefanski's offense. I'm not blaming anybody here. This is not me blaming Baker, but Baker Mayfield, when targeting OBJ this year, has a 50% completion rate, lowest of any receiver. He has a 72 passer rating when targeting OBJ, the lowest of any Browns receiver. It doesn't work. And what's funny about it, I always think it's so hacky when people talk about hot takes. Like, you're a hack if you have to bring that up, because it used to be a hot take when people like me said OBJ doesn't work in Cleveland and Baker's better without him. Remember that was a hot take? No, it's actually called data. Do your homework. They are better without OBJ. He doesn't want to be there. Bill Belichick has been saying it for years. Belichick's famous quote is, this sport's not about collecting talent. It's about building a team. And some players fit better into one system or style or play than they do another. OBJ doesn't work with Baker. He doesn't work in Cleveland. He doesn't work with Stefanski. It's not a hot take. It's data. It's there. By the way, this isn't even the first year it doesn't work. This has been going on for 2 years. And I'm not blaming Baker at all. I just don't think they work. Baker is a young quarterback. Stefanski's a young coach. There is this sense that you got to get the ball to this superstar player, at least he was a couple years ago. I thought it was a terrible move by Dorsey. I never liked it. Jarvis Landry is a great fit. Jarvis Landry is underrated. Jarvis Landry is underappreciated. He's exactly what you give Baker Mayfield. You give a young, when you have a young quarterback, you give him hungry receivers with a lot to prove. OBJ was a star. He didn't have anything to prove. He went from the New York Giants, this blue blood franchise with Super Bowls, to the losingest franchise outside of Detroit in the last 25 years. It was a terrible fit. It's not a hot take. It doesn't work. This idea that you owe the best players, that's all it's about. Just get the best players and you win all the games. When has New England in the last 20 years had the best roster? Let's start with never and work our way from there. It's never been about having the best players. It's having 6 or 7 really high-end players mixed in different units, so every unit has somebody who can make great plays, and then having a really good coach, a really good system, a really smart quarterback. It doesn't work. It's not a hot take, but what you're seeing this morning is LeBron and his guys are tight with OBJ. They have gone to social media. Let him go. And his dad has gone to social media blaming Baker Mayfield. That, you would think, would propel him out of town. Now, Cleveland this morning said we're not moving him. Move him. It's time. Move him. OBJ, in my opinion, would rather get cut. He wants to get cut so he can reboot his career. I don't blame him. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. This is where I'll defend players to the end. This is why mobility is important. OBJ, he may have 1 or 2 prime years left athletically. If it's not working, let him go. This is why I defend Kevin Durant when he left Westbrook and went to Steph Curry. Yeah, because Steph Curry's way better than Westbrook. I would choose Steph Curry over Westbrook. Now, I wouldn't choose Kyrie Irving over Steph Curry, but I've always kind of defended KD's moves. And I will defend OBJ here. Let him go. He's been a good soldier. He hasn't been disruptive. I mean, you never hear a peep from him. Seriously, he's the biggest star in Cleveland. I never hear him. He's been a good guy about this. It doesn't work. He's told his friends privately, get me out of here. Now his friends are kind of coming to the rescue. But he really has been. You may not like his production. He has never been difficult here. Baker has had his days. OBJ has never been difficult. And I've been critical of him. But at this point, let him go. Let him reboot his career. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.